What do you know about the murder of Ashley Dale?
Please, if there's anyone here, make yourself known!
Do you know anything about it?
Oh, hello, Mr. Niall.
Do you know why Ashley was shot and killed?
No comment.
There was betrayal, murder, and terrible mistakes. Officers from Merseyside British Police took this video with their body cameras just a few minutes after 28-year-old Ashley Dale was shot and killed in her own home. I say half accidentally because she wasn't the main target of this attack. The real target couldn't be found at all. And as the detectives dug deeper into the case, they found a story that was deeply frustrating. Who was Ashley Dale then? How did she turn into a good pawn in a case full of bad guys? Tell me about the events that led to her terrible death. This is about Ashley Dale. Welcome to Liverpool, a city that is full of life and character, and where every street sounds like it has a story to tell. There are many historic sites in Liverpool, and the Royal Albert Dock is one of them. When it was built in the 1800s, it was very advanced for its time and showed off the best of British building. Today, places like the Beatles Story, the Merseyside Maritime Museum, and Tate Liverpool make it a lively culture hub where the past and the present meet. This dock isn't just a place for tourists to hang out. It's the creative hub of the city, full of music, art, and culture. If you're lucky, you might even see a cat that speaks a different language. A lot of people visit Liverpool every year, but the city has a much darker past than what you see on the surface. Gang culture shaped the streets just as much as the city's music and maritime history. In the late 1800s, Liverpool was a place of stark contrasts, with both very rich people and very poor people living together. Like in many big cities, this difference led to the formation of dangerous gangs. The High Rip Gang is one of the best known of these. Someone in this group has seen Peaky Blinders. Gangs like the High Rip Gang terrorized many working-class people by operating in these dangerous areas. Their crimes were often reported on the first pages of local media. However, as the 20th century went on, Liverpool's gang scene changed in big ways. In the past few years, the city has become home to many organized crime groups. These groups are well known in the city's neighborhoods and also have links around the world. This means they can now do things like trafficking drugs, laundering money, trading guns, and of course, committing violent crimes. There are thought to be up to 120 gangs operating in and around Merseyside right now. One unlucky summer night in 2022, a woman who wasn't guilty found herself right in the crosshairs. Our story today starts at 12:41 a.m. in Liverpool's Old Swan neighborhood, which is a few miles east of the city centre. The early hours of August 21st, 2022, an emergency call was made that was very scary. A neighbor called to say that she found a woman lying still in her own garden after hearing what sounded like a war zone. When the police arrived at the house, they saw a very scary scene. Even though it was very quiet inside, the front door had been clearly and violently pushed open, which was a clear sign that something bad had happened. There was an open back door that went out to the garden. Police said it looked like the attackers or the victim had gotten away quickly because the door was carelessly left open. As the officers slowly made their way into the yard, they were shocked to see the body of a young woman lying on the patio. She was lifeless and covered in blood. She was lying in an odd way, with her body twisted, like she had passed out trying so hard to get away and call for help. To make things even stranger, a cell phone lay nearby, as if it had slipped out of her hand as she was dying. What really shocked the officers, though, was the clear proof of violence. They saw that there was a pool of blood in the ground below her body when they looked under her. They would soon understand why. Several empty shell casings for bullets were found all over the house. The cops had a busy night. The fact that a young woman had been killed with a gun in her own home was very shocking because gun crime is not common in the UK. As police looked into the crime scene, more people showed up. The more people who showed up, the more the neighbors heard the noise. People who lived nearby said they heard gunshots coming from the property, and others said they heard tires screeching away from the scene. There were also people who said they had heard a car alarm hours before. No matter what happened, her community would be shocked by how violent the invasion was, how quickly she died, and all the other crazy details in between. Since neighbors are neighbors, it didn't take long for them to help police figure out who the victim was. She would soon be known as Ashley Dale, who is 28 years old. Now, though, there were still a lot of other questions. For instance, why was Ashley the target? Did anyone dislike her? Who were the men who killed her? Why is that? That was a lot of good questions. Some of them won't even be answered the way you think they will be. Ashley wasn't the main goal, which is why that happened. Just an extra. Let's look at Ashley and her life first, though, before we keep reading this terrible story. She was proud. Ashley was born to Julie and Stephen Dunn. She was one of 5 children who lived in a close-knit family in the city of Liverpool. She was the oldest of 3 children, so it was only normal that she would be the one to watch out for her parents and her younger brother and sister. The fact that people are naturally defensive would make some already sad news even worse. Her younger brother Lewis Dunn was shot and killed in 2015 when he was only 16 years old. His death, which was caused by a rival gang's wrong identity, changed Ashley's life and how she sees things going forward. But Ashley kept going in her personal and work life, even though she was going through a lot of trauma after her brother was killed. She turned her sadness into schoolwork and finally got a degree in environmental health. After that, she got a job as an environmental health officer, where she really did brilliantly. People who worked with Ashley praised her for both how hard she worked and how kind and caring she was in her job, which was to try to make people's lives better in her community. As an environmental health worker, she worked on many projects to make cities healthier and better places to live. She was known for being dedicated, smart, and hard-working. But when she wasn't working, Ashley liked living a quiet life with her dog, Dara, friends, and family. Her family and friends said she was a kind and loving person who loved life deeply, even though she had been through a lot. But things got more complicated in her personal life when she started dating a guy named Lee Harrison. The bad news is that he had a lot of connections in the crime world. The fact that Ashley was involved with gangs caused a lot of worry in his family, who thought that his ties could put them in danger. And let's be honest, it's easy to see why they would be worried about this after losing their son. Ashley did not want to see the bigger picture, though. Instead, she thought Lee was a man who was always getting better. But the truth is that she was very easy to fool because she was kind and had a strong sense of right and wrong. After all this talk about him, let me present you to Lee Harrison. He is also from Liverpool and is 28 years old. He was involved with many gangs and drug trades. He became close with Niall Barry when he was young. Barry was also known to sell drugs in the area. It's clear that they had a close relationship because both guys worked together on different projects, such as delivering both weed and high-grade cocaine. But all good things must come to an end, and their relationship started to go downhill in 2018 due to drugs, trust, and betrayal. In that same year, Niall Barry was sadly robbed. The Hillsiders, another local gang, planned the robbery. All of the cocaine he had hidden in secret in his home and worth £40,000 or $50,000 was lost in this way. To make things even worse, Niall knew that Lee had a lot of contacts with the Hillsiders. This made him think that his best friend was probably the one who told them about the invasion. Lee, of course, denied having anything to do with it, but Niall was already sure, and that was enough for him. His trust had been broken. Things got worse between them, and by the end of the year, they were at odds with each other forever. Lee would have to join the Hillsiders because of this, and from then on, it would be war. Then, in June 2022, they would meet by chance, and old feelings would come back. At this point, Lee and Ashley were having a good time at the Glastonbury Festival when they ran into a member of Niall's gang by mistake. After that, there was a terrible fight because of competition. Niall was at the fair too, but he didn't see the fight. When he heard about it, he told his friends that he would stab Lee in the back the next time they saw each other.
Onto there for him. Usually they may have drug from you. We're on the vehicle, okay? So I'm taking you for a search. I'm piecing with another on to you, both police unit, okay? So you want to have them.
Could play passport.
Let's do a chat there. James has got £7 in cash on him, but that's below the threshold. Oh, hello, Mr. Niall.
Yeah, that'll do.
That'll come in.
It was because Niall Barry was acting dangerously the next day that he and his friends were caught and checked by police. Niall was found with a knife, as you can see in this video.
Niall, time is 25 mate. You're going to be arrested under suspicion of possession of that, okay? Is it?
That's not my bag.
It's in your bag with your passport in it, okay?
I've just showed that to you before. My passport's in his bag.
So you don't say anything at my own defence. Do not mention my questions. See you later on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. All right.
That's my bag.
It's got your passport in it.
You grabbed all my stuff before.
Hmm?
You grabbed all my stuff before.
Is there just one bag? No, there's two bags.
My bag's the carrier bag, the white bag. With all the clothes in.
You say straight away that his passport's going to be in his mate's bag.
I did say that, yeah, I did say that actually. So please, because I did
Right. You're under arrest for now, okay? It's your bag, isn't it? Say again? The big blue holder.
No.
Now, Niall was lucky because his friend was willing to blame him. Even though the knife was found in the same bag as his own ID, he said it belonged to his friend James Witham. After that, James was held because he might have been carrying a gun. So, even though the cops were there, the tensions stayed the same.
I'm going to arrest you then for suspicion of possession of this, okay? So you do not have to say anything but may harm your defendant. You don't mention my questions, or okay? Anything you do say may be given evidence.
After things got worse at Glastonbury, Ashley's life would take a very dramatic turn for the worse. To be honest, it's pretty clear that seeing gang fighting for herself would make her suspicious and scared. Over the next few days and weeks, Ashley became more worried about Niall Barry's physical threats. He not only threatened them at the festival, but he also told Lee that he would be visiting both of them at their home address at some point. It's clear that this scary statement had a big effect on her, because Ashley started to feel like danger was closing in on her after that. She chose to tell her close friend Mo what was going on. In a text message to Mo, she said, "I'm scared. I feel like something is going to happen all the time." Ashley reached out to several friends for comfort as her worry grew. She wrote in another message that the whole situation was making her feel uneasy. I keep feeling like someone's watching me. I don't think I can handle much more of this. There was no doubt that Ashley's constant worry was affecting her mental health. The texts she sent to her friends showed how much that bothered her. Ashley tried to reassure herself, but she couldn't get rid of the thought that the worst was yet to come. She wrote in a different message, "I feel like a duck, waiting for something bad to happen. I can hear sounds outside. I'm not sure if it's just my mind playing tricks on me or if he's really there." Sadly, her gut feeling would turn out to be right in the end. The wolf was right outside Ashley's front door, waiting for her to do something. The 20th of August, 2022 evening started out like any other. While Lee Harrison was out with the boys, Ashley and Dara were getting ready for a night together. That same night, Ashley shared this picture of herself and Dara sitting on the couch. It's too bad she didn't know what was going to happen that night. As soon as the sun went down, a car alarm went off in the neighborhood. Ashley would notice that it was her car because she was used to seeing it, but she didn't think anything of it. She ignored it as an inconvenience and went on with her night. She did send her friend a message to say, "The car alarm went off again. I believe it is the rain." The message seemed casual, but the tone made it sound like she might be a little nervous. This turned out to be true because she later that night, in another message, she said, "I don't know. I feel like someone is outside all the time." Ashley's worries would keep growing. As the night went on, her car alarm would go off again, and this time she would feel like this wasn't just an accident. So she sent her friend a message saying, "I feel so on edge tonight. This is not at all what I like." After just 1 hour, in the early hours of August 21st, she would get a ring at the front door. Ashley was aware that this was bad news. There was dead quiet in the house, but the doorbell rang, and then, out of the blue, the door slammed open. Right away, a shooter walked inside. He didn't think twice about it, and there was no way to stop him. He fired a lot of guns all at once, leaving Ashley with no time to respond or get away. Feeling scared, she quickly grabbed her phone and ran to the back door, but it was too late. One of his shots had already hit her. While Dara hid in a corner, her attackers went through the house shooting the gun into several rooms to see if Lee was hiding and hit him. At the same time, Ashley's last moments were spent in fear in the backyard. There was no way to get away from the violence or her fatal injuries. Her last messages, which she sent just minutes before the attack, will always be a chilling memory of how well she had known she was in danger. As soon as the cops arrived, it became painfully clear that Ashley Dale had been killed in cold blood. A lot of people thought it was probably because her partner was involved with gangs. Police quickly found out that Ashley's tires had all been cut, which is likely what set off the car alarm in the first place. They came up with this sick plan to get Ashley and Lee to leave the house. When her family found out about her last text messages, they were heartbroken and angry because they realized she had been right about everything all along. Plus, everyone knows that you should always go with your gut. Thanks to those texts, Ashley pretty much solved her own murder. They told police everything they needed to know. Now, all they had to do was put together the proof. There would be a lot of smoke and mirrors, though, during the investigation. Her boyfriend, who was conveniently not there when the killing happened, would be the culprit. At this point, I should say that Lee was very rude to the cops and would not even give them a statement. When he was forced to go to interviews, he chose to stay quiet instead. This, of course, slowed down the investigation in its early stages. It's strange, but that wouldn't be the only thing either. He also wouldn't help find possible suspects, would stay out of the investigation, would change his cell phone number, and would even ghost Ashley's whole family, leaving them to grieve without his help. It makes sense that his lack of understanding and support would make her worry even more about his possible role or knowledge in her death. It's true that everyone deals with sadness and guilt in their own unique way, but Lee was clearly being a terrible person here. And while I wish I could say that was it, I'm afraid that wasn't. When I say I wish that was all of it, I mean that there is more. To begin with, police were shocked to learn that Lee had planned a vacation in Spain right after his girlfriend had been killed. Of course, the best time to get some sun is right after your partner has been brutally killed. As you might have guessed, the fact that he was leaving the country made the police wonder if he was trying to escape being charged. The police didn't have time to waste, though. Instead of focusing on him, they chose to look at what really happened that August 20th, 2022 night. It was caught on camera that James Witham and Joseph Pearce were in this shop. Once they had bought something, they were seen leaving the store and getting into a grey Hyundai i30. In the end, this car was found to be an important piece of proof. It had been caught on another security camera near Ashley's house earlier that same evening. The video shows the car in the Page Moss area, which suggests that the driver and passenger may have been checking out the area before the attack that night. Around 11:30 p.m., James and Joe walked up to Ashley's white Volkswagen, which was parked outside the family home, and cut the tires, which set off the car alarm. Lee or Ashley were supposed to come outside, but no one did, even though they tried hard. They went away and thought of a plan B because of this. Plan B, on the other hand, was terrible. After an hour, both guys came back to the property, but this time one of them had a Scorpion submachine gun with them. It was clear they wanted to kill someone. They broke down the front door and then found Ashley running towards the back door. James fired 8 shots from his machine gun right as she got to the back door of the yard. One of them hit her in the back. He went upstairs and fired 5 more shots into an empty bedroom after seeing her fall. This could have been a warning or an attempt to scare Lee. After that, he turned around and ran down the stairs, leaving both guys behind. Luckily, the whole thing was caught on a neighbor's security camera. Once the attack was over, James and Joe left the area and stayed at a hotel in St. Helens to hide. Unfortunately for them, police were able to keep track of where they went. And cop finally found their car after being told to keep an eye out for an Audi Q7. They were both caught and found in handcuffs, which was a good thing. Now you might be thinking what happened to Niall Barry, who was a very important part of planning the attack. To be exact, they would find him at a golf club in Forb. There was also evidence that he was going to leave the country. Officers used a well-coordinated operation to stop him from getting away after they tracked him to the golf resort. Not long after that, Sean Zeese, the 4th accomplice, was also caught for his part in Ashley's death. After arresting and charging all 4 guys, police had time to gather all the evidence they could find. In October 2023, after a few months, their hearing would finally start. James Witham, who had obviously fired the shots that killed Ashley, would first try to say that he did not mean to kill her. He said that he only meant to shoot up the place as a threat, but instead he found Ashley and shot her by chance, so her death shouldn't be seen as planned. However, this claim would be very hard to believe in court, given all the evidence, such as the earlier threats, the messages, the huge amounts of surveillance footage, and the different witness statements. Ashley screamed in fear and tried to run towards the back door as she came to terms with the fact that 2 armed men had broken into her house. This would have given James, who had a Scorpion submachine gun with him at the time, a lot of time to plan his next move. Still, he fired 8 shots at Ashley, even though she was screaming. One of them hit her in the back. He shot right at her as she tried to get away, which was made clear. The men were given a total of 173 years in jail in November 2023 for killing Ashley Dale. This wasn't a surprise. James Witham would be locked up for life, with at least 43 years already served. Niall Barry was given at least 47 years to live. Sean Zeiss was given life in prison with a minimum sentence of 42 years. And Joseph Pearce was given life in prison with a minimum sentence of 41 years. Without a question, the conviction of Ashley's 4 killers was a sad moment for her family. They felt that even though justice had been done, it would never be enough to make up for the loss of their loved one. Ashley Dale's untimely death caused her family a lot of sadness and loss. "My life might as well have ended there too," her mother said about her daughter's death, which changed her life. "Those 3 words turned off all of my lights for good. Since then, time has stopped." You'll know that every one of my movies ends with a tragedy if you watch them often. Just take a moment to think about how Ashley's mother feels about it. This pain must be unbearable. Having to find your daughter's body, pick out a box, and then pick out an outfit for her to wear at the funeral, rather than seeing her walk down the aisle. However, this wasn't the first terrible thing to happen to the family, which made it even worse. It just so happened that Ashley's younger brother Lewis had also been killed in that same gang war. At her funeral, her father said, "Of my 3 children, Ashley is the oldest, and Lewis is the youngest. Both of them are now dead." Ashley's younger sister had planned to stay the night of the killing, which was a lucky but close turn of events. She had to cancel at the last minute, though, because she had already made promises. She had no idea at the time that this choice would save her life, which is so lucky. It would have been unbearably sad if all 3 of her children had died. After Ashley's death, her family has spoken out about both their sadness and how gang violence has changed their lives. They have been through a lot of pain, but they have been strong and now fight for an end to gang violence. It's great to see that Ashley's friends and family have come together to support them since then, holding vigils and ceremonies for her. So you might be asking, what happened to Lee, Ashley's boyfriend? I'm afraid I don't have a good answer for you. Despite everything, he got no penalties at all, and he is still free today. Even more annoying is the fact that he keeps selling cocaine and heroin for money, even though his girlfriend was killed because of the drug trade. It looks like this guy still hasn't learned his lesson. He really doesn't care. He would also post something rude on Instagram that said, "2 years miss, as you was a real member. Hope you're in paradise. Happy miss you. Take an angel from me. Feed a demon to you." Really nice, Lee. Please take the kid back to school. Gun crime in the UK has been very low in the past. In fact, the country has one of the lowest rates of gun-related murder in the world. Even though the UK's population has grown, the average number of gun-related murders has stayed the same every year since 2011. In contrast, gang violence in the UK has gone through the roof in the past few years. This is most likely because of austerity measures, poverty, and a lack of schooling. It looks like it won't slow down anytime soon, which is a shame. Knives, not guns, are the problem in the world of gangs. This has nothing to do with the movie, but if you want to read something dark and interesting, type in UK zombie knives. There are a lot of them in London. Anyway, those are my thoughts. But as always, I want to know what you think about this. Do you think Lee should have been punished for killing Ashley? That's the big question. That's all for today's case. If you found it intriguing, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new story. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think happened. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and keep seeking the truth.